Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley Edwards, Technical Manager at Purdicom, and I'm joined today by Andrew Blomley, aka Blommers, as I'm sure most of you know him, from TP-Link,
Yeah.
Product and Solutions Manager.
Hello, Ash. Thanks very much for inviting me.
So today we're going to be talking around the TP-Link Omada range, a little about TP-Link as a company as well, and touch on Purdicom as well. So a bit of an overview of what we're going to be talking around today. Who are TP-Link? What is the TP-Link Omada range? A bit of a product overview of the Omada range. What you can find in the Omada platform, and then we'll have a little Q&A session at the end. So who are Purdicom? We are a value-added distributor. For those of you who do not currently know us, we do work with many vendors, as you can sort of see we're touching on there, but obviously today is all around TP-Link, so I won't go into that sort of too much, and we'll talk a little more about Purdicom a little later. First of all, I'll hand over to Andrew to give you a bit more info about TP-Link as well.
Hello, yes, good morning. It's always nice to start off a presentation with a quick timeline. So just a little bit of history about TP-Link. Founded in 1996, TP standing for Twisted Pair. So that's how we've got our name, and obviously Link, using Twisted Pair to link networks together. Some important things. 2005, we expanded into the international market. So we came out of China and started very much focusing then on the domestic market. 2010, we became the world's #1 wireless LAN producer. So we produce more wireless LAN components than any other manufacturer. Then in 2015, we started moving very much into the business space. So, lots of questions have been asked is how long has the B2B part of the business been around? So it's been around since 2015. And we're now moving into, manufacturing in different parts of the world. So we're moving away from China as our main point of manufacturing. We have a very large facility now based in Vietnam. And that was built in 2018. And we're focusing now on small, medium size, and even large enterprise for networking components. And in 2020, we also entered the surveillance field as well. So we have our own CCTV brand of cameras known as VG. Those cameras are actually going to be built into the Omada platform as of this year as well. So we'll have not only a cloud-managed Wi-Fi and networking portfolio, but we'll also have a cloud-managed CCTV portfolio as well.
Thank you, Blommers. So moving on, what is TP-Link Omada? So TP-Link Omada, as we've sort of already touched on, the Omada range is the B2B products and the sort of enterprise-focused product range available from TP-Link. They include a full range of equipment, such as gateways, switches, access points, and more. So we are going to go over all of that for you. So first of all, meeting the product range. So as I sort of touched on, it is the B2B focused brands, including the software-defined networking. There are a full line of controllers, APs, and switches, routers and accessories as well. There's a lot of flexibility within the Omada range in devices themselves and in the controlling of those devices as well. So first of all, we'll touch on the Wi-Fi offering from Omada. So there is a full range of access points covering sort of every requirement that you might need. They have the high density availabilities with the 660 HD and 620 HD. So the 660 HD is a 4x4 access point with a onboard 2.5 gig Ethernet port, able to deal with many clients. So this is where what you're going to want in these real high density deployments. Moving under sort of the wide area coverage there, we've got the EAP 773. So this is the Wi-Fi 7 access points, the first Wi-Fi 7 AP of the Omada range. So yeah, and then moving on from there, we got the EAP 683 LR as well. So this is your long range access point. This it's got an increased sensitivity on the antenna to deal with that sort of distance. So when you're trying to cover these large areas, that AP is going to be great for that. There is a full range of outdoor APs as well. So the indoor and outdoor APs often will share names as well. So you'll see the EAP 610 there with an indoor AP. There is also an outdoor version of it. The 610 is the 2x2 outdoor. And then you have the 650, which is the 4x4. And the 650 is also available as a bridge kit, as it says here. So you can use these APs to form a wireless bridge as well as to provide outdoor coverage. And then for the hospitality spaces as well, we have the in-room Wi-Fi APs. So the two that we're showing here are the 650 wall and the 615 wall. So the 650 is sort of a smaller slimline AP. So this one has only 2 ports on it. And then we have the 615, which has got 4 Ethernet ports on there. It is worth pointing out that this is by all means not the entire range of access points. There are many more of these as well. So we have the, for instance, in the in-room Wi-Fi, we have the 655 wall as well, which is the 4 ports, but with the extra 4x4 that the 650 range offers.
I was going to say though, we don't only sell the wall plates in hospitality. We're actually seeing a big use of these wall plates as infill into education, where they will mount one of our access points at the front of the classroom. And this gives a very good cost-effective way of increasing performance in a classroom where there's already existing cabling and cable runs, and just being able to install this at the front very simply and switch it on. And that often covers black spots that people are finding within old installations.
Thank you, Andrew. And it is now over to you again to talk a bit about the switch range that you have in the Omada.
Yeah. So we're ever pushing the boundaries. So we've got a large number now of 10 gig switches, where realistically we're selling 10 gig switches at the same prices that 5 years ago we were selling 1 gig switches. There's an increased demand for performance. You know, I now run my entire home on a 10 gig infrastructure because I can. And you know, I see a significant improvement for my kids gaming and also data throughput. The nice thing about these switches is they're all Layer 2+. So they have the capability of doing inter-VLAN routing actually on the switch and setting that up as the core. This particular set, the standard Omada Layer 2+ switches, don't have the advanced routing, so like OSPF, etc. But we do have a new range of those switches that we are about to launch, and we have some details of those coming up. But with the launch of Wi-Fi 7, what we are seeing is, Wi-Fi 7 is really the first Wi-Fi standard that requires multi-gig interfaces. The tri-radio APs are now regularly exceeding the 1 gig interface that we've seen that's been perfectly acceptable for Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 5 APs. Indeed, I was doing some speed tests with one of our new Wi-Fi 7 APs, and I was getting connection speed on my Pixel phone of 2.5 gigs of throughput. And obviously that's just one device connecting to one radio. Another advantage of Wi-Fi 7 actually is the ability for devices to connect across multiple radios, and not only reducing the latency, but improving the performance as well. So this is something that we are seeing more and more, the ever push for faster and faster network speeds. And obviously your customers are going to be demanding this, so we have a range of switches, not only with 10 gig uplinks, but also 10 gig interfaces on them. And indeed, we are now supplying new ranges of switches with 25 gig SFP connectors, and later in the year, 100 gig SFP connectors. So if we can go to the next slide. The other thing is we're looking at installing, and this comes into CCTV, but for other outdoor uses. Being able to install a switch outside, being able to connect it and power it externally is something that a lot of people are wanting to do. So for this, we have the SG200 and 5P-PD, and no, I don't get to name these kits. Okay, this allows you to power the unit very simply from either a BT powered switch or a BT powered power brick. Okay, that allows you to install this outside and very simply connect it up. It's a layer 2 plus managed switch, so you can actually do routing, run a DHCP server on this without any problems. It has the ability to do basic network filtering as well. So this is an extremely powerful outdoor IP55 rated PoE switch that can be installed on a lamppost, can be installed outside on a wall, and easily connected in. So if you want to expand your outdoor coverage in terms of access points or add additional CCTV, this is really very much the switch for you. Now, moving over to where we are growing as a company. We are launching a range of pure layer 3 switches. So these come in 4 versions. They come in both PoE and non-PoE standards. They are offered in 24 and 48 port switches. They are fully stackable, and these will stack currently up to 8. Okay, and they're using front stacking ports. So they'll use the 10 gig interfaces as stacking ports on there. The PoE version has 6 of them. The non-PoE version has 4. Okay, and they allow you to easily deploy a network core. They have, if we go to the next slide, I'm just showing the PoE version here. They have removable fans, removable fan trays, the ability to have 2 power supplies, and we have different power supply options as well. So we have the ability to have both 600 and 900 watt power supplies installed in these. And when you've got the 900 watt power supplies in them, you can actually have a total of just under 1.5 kilowatts, so 1,440 watts of total PoE budget in the 48 port version of the switch. Now these switches are lovely and quiet when you're running them without lots of load, but obviously the more load you put onto the PoE, the more the fans are going to have to cool the switch, and so they will get a little bit loud when they're running the full 1.4 kilowatts of power. Okay, they are a true layer 3 switch. So they support OSPF, BGP, and they'll take quarter of a table of BGP in them. On top of that, they will also run virtual router redundancy protocol. So if you want to have a fully redundant core, this can be built very easily with, by stacking these switches and putting a number of TP-Link routers on the edge, allowing for a full redundant design. We've also, in the kit, unlike a lot of manufacturers, we supply all of the mounting kits for these switches, and also the power cords as well. And these can be very quickly installed and up and running. I was actually doing some layer 3 routing tests on this with OSPF, and we got the whole stack up and running within less than half an hour. So it's very, very fast to install, very easy to do that, and we have a number of online guides showing you how to do that. Okay. Finally, we're going to be talking about our routers. So we have a number of gateways, and starting on the left-hand side, we have a full 10 gig router. These routers can be designed, as a full enterprise router or a solo router in terms of the wireless version of the router. So we also do a version of this with a 4G interface in it, and we will have a version with VDSL connectivity by Q3 this year. These are exceptionally cost-effective routers. They allow you to install very simply. It's all part of the software-defined networking solution. They allow you to have to create additional VLANs within Omada very quickly and deploy those across the network. This means that your time to get a network up and running when you include our gateways is reduced dramatically. You've only got one area to configure, and it will push the whole config out, create all of the VLANs, all of the routing, etc. Very simply from the gateway. Okay. So, and we also include, an integrated router that also has a switch, which also can supply PoE. So it's a single box solution. Okay. Finally, we're adding deep packet inspection, so or a layer 7 firewall, depending on how you want to describe it. This is just some screen captures that we've taken from our analytics from Omada, showing what's going on in our actual office network. And you can see how much data is being used in Teams, WeChat, etc. How much people are uploading stuff on Instagram. Obviously, the marketing department was in at the time. Okay, and this allows you to sit down and see what's going on, what applications are being used, how much data is being used, but also to set up rules that allow you to prioritize traffic. So, for example, if you want to reserve traffic for Teams, you can do that, so you can guarantee good quality at all times. Okay. It's over to you now, Ash.
Thanks, Andy. So, yeah, moving on from all of the products you've seen, all of the products in the range now. So it's getting to how do you control those products? How do you manage them? And that is where a lot of the flexibility comes in with Omada. So you have the offering of a software controller or a hardware controller, or they can be managed directly in the cloud as well. So with the software controller, you can run that on a VM, and it can be run just about anywhere VM-wise. You can stick it in a Docker. You can sort of run it on pretty much any virtualization environment that you have available. And then in terms of the hardware controller, you have the OC200, which will cover you for up to 100 APs, 20 switches, and 10 routers, or 10,000 clients. The OC300 with the 500 APs, 100 switches, 100 routers, or 15,000 clients. And then finally the OC400, 1,000 APs, 200 switches, 100 routers, 30,000 clients. Now, it is important to mention that even if you go with the hardware or software controller option, this is all still fully cloud managed as well. So you can add the controller into your cloud management platform and then control your entire network from the cloud.
And that is free. We don't charge for that part.
That is fully free. Once you've got the controller, it's fully free to manage in cloud. It's only a subscription if you want to manage the devices directly into the cloud. So you do have that flexibility on how you want to manage your devices. That leads on fairly nicely into the Omada app as well. So the app, as you can see there, it is very nice, very nice looking, and very easy to manage all of your devices. And you are able to fully manage and configure your entire network via the app. So you can go into switches and reconfigure ports. You can go and spin up new SSIDs and everything from the app. So it's well worth having if you're looking at Omada products. And then finally, touching a little on the accessories. So there is a full range of PoE adapters and media converters that will probably cover you for any eventuality that you require for those. There are also rack mount accessories as shown, so that you can get a whole bunch of these media converters and have them nice and neatly in your server cabinets. And then finally, the modules and cables. So there are a full range of the SFPs and DAC cables as well. And speaking sort of impartially, they are they are very good SFPs as well. So they are at a very competitive price point compared to perhaps some other vendors with their own modules, and they do work incredibly well throughout any device that they're connected into. So let's have a little look at the Omada platform as well. So we've got a little demo to run through with you.
So again, this is actually our office. So we're showing you here, some of the association failures and the number of clients that are on the network, number of switches and access points that are running here. It also will show how many guests that are connected as well. Going down here, we can actually show the retry rates. So we're just showing that, okay? And then we can click into statistics, have a look at the performance through any of the switches, and then we can actually have a look at the devices themselves, and then go into the clients and look into the clients and go through that. And then we have full logging capabilities as well, so we can look and go through all the logs. And then we can do some configuration, and we can look at wired networks, and we can look at the wired networks as well. So, this is something that, we can sit down and configure very easily, and also take a huge amount of analytics as well. That's a very quick demo.
Yeah, it is a very intuitive interface as well. It has all of the sort of standard features that you'd expect any sort of enterprise model to have. And it is very easy to get the kit up and going and configured within the Omada platform. So moving on from the Omada a little bit, talking again around Purdicom. So within our Purdicom technical team, we do have professional services offerings, and it wouldn't be a Purdicom presentation if we don't just plug a little about ourselves. So we do have a full range of professional services that we are able to offer with you. If you along with any of our products, so this will be including all of the TP-Link Omada range. So we can help with the site planning, so the full design and planning of the network. We have an access point labeling service, so this is where we will work on a customized label with yourselves and stick that onto every single AP, and then provide you a full log of all of the serial numbers, MAC addresses, names, and everything of those access points for you. We do offer training for quite a few of our vendors. We are currently working on that with TP-Link so that we're able to start hosting the OCNA alongside them. So you should see that coming in the not so distant future. And then sort of moving on from there, we're able to do the pre-configuration of the devices before they ever leave our warehouse. So we'll be powering up all of the kit, putting the configuration and firmware on them, spotting any DOAs that may occur on the very odd occasion that they would be there, so you never even know about them. And you just get working kit sent out, able to be put up by your installers. We can also come along to site to help with the commissioning, as well as any sort of survey work there. And then finally, if for any of the point-to-point type of stuff, we are able to help out with that as well, with the looking at the line of sight survey and any cabling routes that would be required there. So then back to TP-Link a little as well. So as I sort of touched on a moment ago with the OCNA, so that is the training course for the Omada range. There are a couple of dates coming up hosted by TP-Link themselves, so the 7th of May and the 18th of June. So if you are considering the Omada product range and you want to get trained and certified in it first, then keep those dates to mind. There is also a deal currently as well with 40% off selected products for the NFR demo kits. So reach out to your account managers for those. And finally, we have the TP-Link Roadshow that is coming to Purdicom on the 4th of June. So we're going to have a bit of an open day there with TP-Link here. They're going to have their very fancy van that they've got sorted out with a full suite of all of their products in there, able to demo it for you and give you a look around it. So save this date and please do come along and have a chat to us and have a look into TP-Link. And then finally here, I suppose we'll have a look at any questions that there are.
Well, I think there are some questions, so I'm just having a quick look at those. So one of the questions is there an integrated directional antenna or sector antenna on APs in the roadmap? Yep, definitely. Q3, Q4 this year, there'll be versions of the 650 and 610 with 30, 60 and 90 degree antennas. So that's coming. Plans for 4 and 5G offering. So we currently have a 4G router within the Omada solution. We also have 5G routers in our Aginet, which can be connected into Omada, but currently not controlled by Omada. But we're looking to change that shortly. So we're hoping to have a 5G router, hopefully by the end of the year. Okay. We also have another question: can the controller manage multiple sites? Definitely. You can, the CBC, so our cloud controller, is designed all around multiple site management. If you have a hardware controller, we generally recommend the hardware controller is sitting on a single site. But if you want to have a sub-site connected to that hardware controller, that can also be arranged as well. So I think that's the majority of the questions answered. I don't think there's anything else.
Yep, most of the questions were answered. There was another one which was about 3G, 4G routers having going on private networks.
Okay, I don't think that's planned at the moment. I don't think we have a 5G private or 4G private solution yet.
Yeah.
Okay. If there are no further questions, then I will thank you all for your time, and I will look forward to hearing from you in the future to discuss Purdicom and TP-Link further.
Okay.
And thank you, Andy, as well.
Well, thank you very much for the invite. I look forward to the next one.